All right, welcome to episode 22. And today's topic, we are talking about the danger triangle. Basically, what that means is how to avoid feeding in common elimination zones. So, I'm really excited for this episode. We are really moving along with this series. I am so excited with the reception that we've seen lately. So, guys, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Absolutely, thank you so much for everybody who's watched either all the videos, one of the videos, some of the videos. If you've watched any of these videos at any point, I just want to say thank you so much from the absolute bottom of my heart. If you could do me a few giant favors as we get started, hit that like button for me, hit that subscribe button for me. We are doing our very best. We still have what, 8 episodes to go after this, 7 episodes to go after this. So if you guys could help me out so much, hit that subscribe button for me, I'd highly appreciate it. So basically, if you keep on getting caught out and you don't know why, this episode is going to basically explain everything for you. So what is the danger triangle? The danger triangle is basically an area where 3 things happen at once. Either 1, you're exposed from multiple angles, like you're getting hit from multiple enemies at once, from different areas, so you're in a bad position. Or you're far from cover or healing, which means you're basically away from your team, or you're away from any kind of natural line of sight. Or you're alone and you're ahead of your team, like you absolutely moved on. Your team is so far away from you because you wanted to go and get this elimination, but you are alone and with no backup. So those are the 3 main courses of the danger triangle, and that is basically how you get into that. So it's basically the most common place to get picked off, more or less, especially when pushing blindly or kind of like chasing in a way. If you're just chasing, and if you're chasing enemies without really thinking, without really having any kind of strategy, most likely you're gonna get caught up in the danger triangle. So where does the danger triangle happen most, right? Happens most often in choke points, just past like kind of the capture zone, or kind of like right by the payload, stuff like that. So at choke points, that's kind of where a lot of these fights happen. So if you enter these fights just without even thinking, without even using cover, that's probably how you get eliminated real quick, right? So it's usually at those choke points, right at the just off of the point, if that makes sense, like right before it, right after it, stuff like that. The places where enemies, where if you have the point, the place where you want to hold, that way you can force your enemy to walk through there. Or if on another area, at high ground ramps, when no one controls it, right? If you're at a high ground zone where nobody is able, like nobody has control of it yet, you want to go to that. Like it on first point of Spider Islands, when you go up the stairs right there, that is a great example of the high ground ramp that I'm talking about. It's an area where you want to be in control of, where you can, because if you're on the high ground of that, you're going to control a lot more line of sight. You're going to control a lot more of the tempo of the fight. I mean, look what happened to Anakin and Obi-Wan. Like, obviously you always want the high ground, right? So always think of that. Or if you're in an overextended flank, trying to peek too wide solo, like one of those things that I do a lot of the time, which it does get me caught out. I'm going to use that same example of that ramp on Spider Islands. If you go around that right side, I try to do it a lot of the time where I can try and get elimination real quick, and then I get caught out, and then I get eliminated because I'm by myself. My team doesn't have any line of sight on me, and I get eliminated because of it. So these are basically all the different examples of how you get yourself caught into the danger triangle. It's any space really where enemies can pinch you and your supports can't really help at all, so you're just caught out and you will just get eliminated in 2 seconds. So why do players exactly walk into danger triangles? The basically most common answer is greed. I do it every once in a while. It's greed. Chasing a low health enemy, and you're just like I can get this elimination, and then you've gone too far. You don't have any backup from your supports, from your tanks, from your other DPS. You don't have any support from them, and then the other team, the enemy that you were chasing, they get back to their team, they get healed back to full, and they've got backup, and then they turn on you, and you're like, oh, I'm by myself now, and then they turn on you and you get eliminated. Or another one is tunnel vision. Look, we all get tunnel vision every once in a while. not checking the like not checking around you, not checking your surroundings, not checking angles like that, like just not understanding that there are other enemies around and only looking at your target specifically. That is one of the main things that gets you caught into these situations. It is terrible, and you definitely want to break your tunnel vision habits. It is terrible to see, and it's one of those things that I get it. I completely get it. There's a lot going on in these matches, but if you can break that tunnel vision and you can just kind of focus on the entire fight as a whole and not just one person at a time, that right there, guys, that is how you get a lot better at the game. And also poor rotations. There are some rotations that are just like, you want to take it quicker, you want to do different routes, stuff like that. So taking the direct path kind of is, you know, like, yeah, you're gonna get a lot of fire that way, if that makes sense. So if you're just going, if you're like, hey team, rotate this way, but it's like right down like the main road and the entire enemy team is looking at you, the enemy team's going to be firing at you, right? And you might catch an elimination or two on your team. So if instead, if you take an extra 5 seconds to rotate around the long way, your entire team can instead kind of all survive, and you get a more even fight once you are able to engage in skirmish. So I've seen so many players just lead these pushes without any kind of awareness. You do have to think at the end of the day, if you're a tank calling these shots like, hey, rotate around this way or something like that, you have to understand that not everybody has over 400, 500 HP. There are some people with 200, 250 HP that will get eliminated so quickly before they even realize what hit them. If you just rotate them into situations that are dangerous, rotate them that where the enemies can clearly see them without any sorts of line of sight. So you have to think about that. I've seen that so often where tanks will just lead everybody because they're like, well, I've got a bunch of HP, so I can survive. Well, you got to think of the rest of the team, right? So that's what I've seen sometimes from certain tanks. So how do you avoid it exactly? So what you want to do is you want to move from cover to cover, not through open space, right? So if you go from like left cover to right cover to left cover, just like stuff like that, you don't need to stand in the open. Don't stand directly in the middle of an open alleyway or something like that, right? I'm just thinking of Spider Islands the entire time I'm talking about this. Spider Islands is like my favorite map, and I think it's a lot of fun with so many different angles and routes. But it's one of those things where it's like, you do not want to stand in the middle of the open, right? Because if you do, you'll get caught out. So you want to always be within like 5 feet, 10 feet of 10 feet's actually a lot, 5 feet of like cover or something like that, of like one of the buildings where you could just walk into just in case. Because if an enemy like pounces on you, dude, you're deceased, man. So what you want to do as well is you want to wait for your team before taking aggressive angles as well. So if it's like, hey, if you get one person on your team to give you backup when you're taking this, you know, nice little flank route, two is better than one, guys, and you can kind of give each other a little bit of backup and support. So that's a much better way to be able to do these flanking routes, help yourself out, help your teammates out, and you won't get caught out as much and as quickly if you do. And if you do, well, then you have each other to rely on, and then you could back up together. You know what I mean? Also, a huge thing is clear corners and check your backline before committing to a fight. Guys, the amount of times that I've done this as well. So I'm not even going to say that it's not even a me issue, because I've done this before. I think everybody's done this before. The amount of times that I've pushed up, meanwhile we have 2 divers on the enemy team in our backline diving our supports, and I'm just like, well, I'm just going to go onto their team. The amount of times that I've seen that is ridiculous. What you want to do is you want to protect your team. First and foremost, you want to protect your team. If you can't do that, well, then you don't have a team. And if you don't have a team, you're probably not going to win. So think about that. So what you want to do is you want to make sure, hey, before we commit to this fight, is there anybody in our backline? Is there anybody that we need to take care of first before this? But if not, yeah, then go for it, obviously. But don't go in by yourself. The amount of times that I've seen that is ridiculous. So just don't do that, like, please. So I want to give a few role specific tips real quick before kind of, you know, closing this little bad boy out. So for tanks, hold space safely. Don't really lead charges with no backup, and don't lead charges into areas where your teammates will not survive. So think about that a little bit more and be a little bit more cognizant of the rest of your team. For support, stay at the mid-range, not too far forward. Use walls as repositioning and use walls as cover, but don't stay too far back, because if you're too far disengaged from your team, well then I'm not sure how much you can heal from there. And also on top of that, I'm not sure how much your team will be able to help you if the enemy does dive on you. And for DPS, flank smart, but not deep, if that makes sense. Like, you do not need to go all the way into the enemy backline. If you can kind of do a little pincer movement and just change the angle at which the enemy is looking for like a second, that's helpful too. So you don't need to take the longest route to ever exist. Just take a little bit of a wide angle, but be able to retreat when you can, you know what I mean? So guys, what you want to do at the end of the day is you want to avoid bad positioning, right? Because avoiding bad positioning is a skill, right? It is a skill that you build up over time. I didn't know how to position myself when I first started playing games like this. I had no idea how to do it. But as you understand this game and you play it more often, you understand the mechanics behind it, the fundamentals, you'll get it over time. I promise you, it is a skill that you will understand. If you stay out of the little danger triangle, you'll stay alive. And that's how it goes. And the longer you live, the more you carry. So that's how you do it, guys. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I know I've said it before in the past, but thank you so much. If you could hit that like button for me, comment. What are we going to comment today? Comment your favorite musical artist. My favorite one that I've been obsessed with for the longest time, that I've been kind of getting back into a lot lately. I love Tool. Tool is my favorite band of all time. Love them so much. So also subscribe to the channel if you can. I would appreciate that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Later.